guys, for the first time in record-keeping history, the most common living arrangement for those 18 to 34 years of age is, guess what? Living at home with a parent. Now, millennials get talked about a lot lately for various reasons. Personality, education, behavior, entitlement, and lastly, potential in the workplace and in home ownership. Well, here's an interesting graph that shows these young people are opting to stay with mom and dad more so than any other time in recorded history. Take a look. Way back in 1880 and 1940, 18 to 34-year-olds were married or cohabitating on their own at a rate of about 45%. Okay, I get it. Not really relevant. It's just too old of a stat, and the world was way different back then. But in 1960, America really started going, and the economy really started to pick up and really started to take shape. Well, then 18 to 34-year-olds were married or cohabitating on their own at a rate of about 62%. Ambitious little guys and gals back then. In my day, we moved out and got jobs and moved into homes when we were 14. Anyways, today, or at least in 2014, because that's when the graph cuts off, this number is down to 32%, and since this study is about 2 years old, I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's probably dropped even more since then. Matter of fact, I did a little digging, found out it did drop another 1% over the last 2 years, so it's now 31%. So what's the deal, millennials? Is this the new norm? Or is this by choice or by circumstance? I kind of think it's the latter, because it's hard to make a case that these young people are choosing to rent because they simply aren't. They're either choosing to live at home or they're forced to due to the labor market. I mean, to be fair, living alone and single parent situations have shot up from the norm of 3 to 5% to now 14%, but that still doesn't make up for the massive increase of young people living at home. I mean, what do you guys think? Are they just lazy or complacent? Or are they simply a product of their environment? It's tough to keep up with rising rents and home prices nowadays, as it's tough to get a job too. They've either been outsourced or they've been automated. And it's reflected in two major key stats for the real estate industry: mortgage applications and housing starts. Builders know this and are still running at a fraction of the pace they were 15 years ago. And it's certainly recovered since the crash, but builders aren't even close to those pre-recession levels. And folks aren't even looking into home buying options as frequently as they were just 2 years ago. Mortgage applications nationwide continue to drop. And sure, that's not all due to millennials, but normally this is an age group that would play a major role in these stats. These are the proverbial first cogs to turn our real estate machine and industry. These are typically young people hitting their stride in prime home buying years, but oddly enough, they're missing. We just aren't seeing them in the workplace, and thus we aren't seeing them in the real estate industry. I guess you could say millennials are MIA, at least when it comes to this discussion. So, what do? We have a ton of smart people that watch the show. How can we help? Is this simply getting them inserted into the economy and the workplace, or is this a bigger issue and these young people are just super negative about home ownership due to the Great Recession they recently witnessed? As my friend would say, is this a head issue or a heart issue? Let us know down below, and we'll see you guys next week.